KLZ this morning, and John Rush and his partner was talking about the what people receive on welfare in Hawaii, and they receive equivalent to $19 an hour. Now, Hawaii has a special place for me because when I was 18, I went to this camp in Malibu, California, and the majority of counselors there, they were from Hawaii. And I said, and I always thought like I would like to go visit there and see. And from what I was listening to this morning with John Rush, said a lot of the parents who had kids and they were strung out on drugs and so forth, they sent their kids on a one-way ticket to Hawaii. So the other guy said, well, should we, gather up our homeless guys and send them to Hawaii? Because it seems like in Hawaii they can receive up to $50,000 a year in food stamps and welfare assistance. All right. Well, before you start, packing your bags and going, consider this. Okay, Denver. We have a level of living like across the street here. Places cost like $1,800, $1,800, and then you may be able to find a place for maybe $1,200, maybe, okay. And what I heard was, and what I was reading was, the cost of living in Hawaii is double the cost. So therefore, even though they pay out a lot to support their poor population and their homeless population, is relevant to, it's expensive to live on those islands. And so in order for them just to get in the ballpark of living out there, of course, their benefits has to be raised to a certain level, and which brings me to, I know Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer, they don't want reform the illegals as far as like, and they don't want reform of the benefits given to people on welfare, because they said it's cruel to make them work if they're on welfare. It's cruel. Like, and Chuck Schumer, he gets those crocodile tears, and he says, the president has been so cruel. Yeah, shut up. Shut up with your crocodile New Yorker tears. Okay, Chuck Schumer. But there has to be something done because, okay. And then they said, one of the lady of the show, and if you ever want to, KLZ 560 on the AM dial, the show starts at 3 o'clock, goes from 3 to 7. It's a fantastic show. I get to listen to it in the morning between, I guess, 3 and 5 o'clock in the morning, because I'm just too busy during the day to stop and listen to it, because they just give you so much information in that show. So if you get a chance, listen to the Rush for Reason show on KLC Monday through Fridays at 3, from 3 to 7. So they're not paying me for that. I just think it's an excellent show, and I get a lot of good information from John Rush. But I hope, and I don't know if President Trump will be able to do it, there will be some reform. That, okay, if the ladies, they go out there, and somebody wanted me to look up like how many prostitutes were in Colorado, which I don't know if they even have stats on that, but that will probably be my next show. If I look up how many prostitutes are in Colorado, I have to look up how many pimps. And I don't think when you go out and do the census, on the piece of paper they say, what is your profession? And if a lady writes down, I'm a hoe, I would be surprised. And if a guy writes down, I'm a pimp, I would be surprised. So I don't know if there's any stats out there that can tell me the exact number of hoes and the exact number of pimps out there. But I do know where I can go to a bar and ask the people there, are there any hoes in this bar? In this bar, and then and whoever raised their hand, I can say, hey ho, how many of you are there in Colorado, right? And then I can get a accurate account of how many hoes are there, and then I can ask her, if she raises her hand, or if I can even go to the gay bar and say, how many hoes are in here? And the guys will switch their butts and come over and raise their hand and say, oh, what can I do for you? You want me to do this or that? And I said, no, I'm not interested in that. I just want to find out how many hoes, male hoes, are there in Colorado, because I got to check the homosexual hoes. Then I got to go to the PTQY bars where they don't know who they are or what they are. They both have penises and vaginas, and they don't know who they are. They're dressed up as women. So then I got to ask them, how many hoes are in here? So it's a project that I don't think I can ask on the Google how many hoes are there in Colorado. I think I have to go out there and go one-on-one and take my phone and do a Facebook Live on the street asking people how many hoes out there. But if you do that, tag me in that, because I'm kind of interested to find out. Oh, okay. My pastor, he's texting me. I thought he was on Facebook saying, Johnny, what are you doing talking about hoes? But he's asking me another question. So when I heard that on this morning, Rush for Reason, about that the average Hawaiian on welfare receives $19 an hour, which I don't think it's like 40 hours. I think it may be like for a 20-hour, I mean, not 20-hour, but a 5-hour a day job. They receive that 19. So why would you want to work if you're receiving that much? Well, I was looking at a Andy Griffin show yesterday, and him and Opie were talking about this boy had moved into town, and this boy said that his father had bought him a bike for $75. And that's pretty expensive back in 1959, 1960. $75 for a bike was pretty expensive. And the boy was kind of convinced Opie that when your parents ask you to clean up the house or do some chores and then they pay you money, you don't have to do that because you're a child, and children don't have to work for what they do. They don't have to work. They just need to sit there and be a child and just enjoy the life. Well, the point of the story was Andy Taylor was paying Opie $0.25 a week, 25 cents a week, right, to go clean up the garage and other things. And so this boy was saying, hey, you should get 75 cents or more for doing this. And so Opie tried to negotiate that price with his father, right? And it ended up where the father, he came back and apologized. I mean, you really got to go see the show. He came back and apologized, and Andy, the father, he decided to give him a 2-cent raise, which was 27 cents. Now this is back, man. Can you imagine? I mean, our allowance. I think my mother. I think in the '60s, my mother used to give us like $2 a week for allowance. So man, I was doing better than Opie. But of course, Mayberry is in a real rural part of. It was like a made-up rural part of the city, and getting back to 2019. Just think about the philosophy. Okay, yeah, you can get free money, and that will cut your incentive to go out and work. But maybe some people are inducive to. They just want to be taken care of. Okay, maybe there's some grown men out there who just want to be taken care of. But there's other men who like myself and others, like the ones that are probably watching this. You like to go out there and you like to earn your living, right? Men and women, all right? And then I heard this one guy call into the show and said that at a Walmart Now it's kind of close to the mountains, but in a Walmart, they had a sign up saying they will pay $18 an hour to work at their store, and if you work on weekend, they'll pay you that and with a bonus. And then he said he saw like a Walmart that was closer to town that pays $14 an hour. The market is there. Our unemployment rate here in Colorado is at 3%. 3%, meaning that if you want a job in Colorado, you can get a job in Colorado. So it's just interesting that Walmart, of all places, and plus they pay you benefits too. And I know a lot of people say, oh, yeah, I know these people that are working at Walmart and have to be on the welfare system. Well, if they get 2 jobs, they won't have to be on the welfare system. You know, forget the welfare system where you have to go down and fill out all these paperwork and let people into your business 24/7, 7 days a week, right? Oh, and then let me tell you this: in London, England, your food stamp card is controlled by the government like it is here in America. But out there, they control, if you're buying too many Twinkies, they'll send you a note on email saying, you're not eating a balanced meal. We suggest that you slow down on the Twinkies and buy healthier foods. Now, it hasn't got that way here in America yet, and I say that word yet, but with all these millennials and all these socialist left-wing people that are taking over the Democratic Party, you guys better watch out, because it's not here now, and it may not be here before I leave the planet, but it's going to be here perhaps when my children get older, and perhaps when my grandchildren get older. And you see Venezuela now, you see those long lines that they're standing to get some food, right? You see those, and you know that in Venezuela, the government convinced the people to give them the guns, right? So now these people are standing in long lines. The police force, they have guns, so they can shoot you and put you down, but you better not rise up against the government and protest, because they'll just pop you one. So you and that lady who from New York, they call her ALC, who thinks that all we need to do is just take from the billionaires and just spread the money around. Yeah, okay. So how about let's spread your money around, ALC. Let's cut into your check, because you have no skin in the game right now. Because you're a congressman, you get the better health care benefits, you get the better everything benefits, and it's all on the dime of the taxpayers. And just as when Nancy Pelosi wanted to take her and 90 other friends out on a 7-day voyage into Europe, and she wanted the American people to flip the dime, because she wanted to go out there and promote the Democratic Party. And when President Trump said no to that, she had a hissy fit and said, well, you can't come to the House and present the State of the Union, because I couldn't take me and my boys and my girls out on the Americans' dime and have a good time and watch some theater plays all on the American dime. It wasn't out of her pocket. It was out of our pocket, the people of the United States. So I don't know how much it's going to take for you Democrats to wake up, how much it's going to take for you Republicans to wake up, and especially the ones here in Colorado. How long is it going to take for you guys to wake up and see this government is by the people, for the people. They work for us. And for them to be taking their luxury trips like Nancy Pelosi wanted to take, and Chuck Schumer probably wanted to get on the airplane as well, on our dime, right? We have to say something about that. Just like that lush fund they had for the congressmen that were screwing around with the interns, and when the intern says, "Hey, I'm gonna tell on you, I'm gonna sue you," they said, "Well, here's $65,000, baby. Can you keep it quiet? And then can you sign this piece of paper as well, saying that you won't disclose that we paid you from the government, this little hush-hush till that was developed during the Clinton era, because Clinton was getting in everybody's panties, so we need to develop a hush-hush fund, right? So that's where it started from. So we got $65,000 for you, baby. Isn't that a good price? Just to let me pattern your little intern ass, right? Okay. So now that was out of the bag. So now we know about that little slush fund that the politicians had, because they couldn't keep their wingers in their pants, and Anthony Weiner wasn't the only wiener out there. You think that he was the only wiener out there acting stupid with his wiener? No, there was a bunch of them. He was just falling in line with all the rest of them. But anyway, I need to get off my soapbox. Anyway, I just wanted to jump in a little bit because I heard about that Hawaiian thing. So, and I know I went on a tangent. So leave your comments down here. And of course, that's the phone number if you want to leave a voicemail. You might hear yourself on the radio show that we record and put on Spreaker. And we do it on KOMF radio. It's 92.9 FM on the FM dial, so you can check that out as well. And eventually I will get back to KUHS Denver, but right now I got my hands in too many things. Okay, hey, Paul Cryastris, thank you for watching. Joey Hennesjoy, thank you for watching. Okay, and I know some other people are going to sign on later on. So when you guys sign on, leave your comments. And I know I'm kind of spontaneous here, so I'll see you guys later.